Face the Fact on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gimba. And then the colonial masters, that they felt it was important for Nigeria to be given independent. And that's why Nigeria became independent without losing a soul of a human being. When you compare Nigeria with other African countries, they ended up in fighting wars to become independent. But in the case of Nigeria, we use media. And so for that moment, we've been using media as a tool for focusing on government's policies. Today in Nigeria, most people are of the opinion that the country is not getting it right simply because the media has actually dropped in what it's supposed to do by doing what they should do at a point it is needed and allow the government to now take Nigerians for granted and they're coming up with policies that we don't even investigate or either ask questions for the public to become aware of some of these policies. And so many of these issues today we see in this country, partly the media is taking the blame, and then the other side of it, the government that has not been doing the right thing at the right time, that they felt it was important for us to really do the right thing at the right time. And so it was on that very particular trajectory, at that particular point, we felt it was important for me to invite those who are into this media world to tell us more about how we're supposed to guide government using our pen, using our media platforms, like the way I am in creating awareness for Nigerians to know that there are certain policies that obviously ought not to be. For instance, let me give you an instance. The GMOs, that is genetically modified organisms, that today we are beginning to see that creating a lot of harm or harmful effects on Nigerians. In the time past, we used to see, cancer relatively to those who are considered to be involved in alcohol. And today, you now see a child at the age of 10, 15, already battling with the issue of this terminal disease that's called cancer. The question here is, where is this problem coming from? It's because we are being introduced into this genetically modified. And as a result of that, the chemicals that are there have actually become harmful to human existence. Like for instance, you will now plant a crop, and then those who are into this cross editing, they will not cross editing, so to speak. They will not tell you that they can actually remove that particular element in a crop that pests cannot actually destroy it. The question here is, if pests cannot destroy a particular thing that is consumable, it then means it could be harmful to humanity. So it was on that basis that I felt it was important for us to actually discuss some of these policies. And now we're beginning to see that government are working towards making these genetically modified organisms to be imported into this country. That at the long run, you will not discover that we will be left struggling with these deadly diseases that we might not be able to survive at the end of the day. And so some people who are within the media cycle are saying, no, government should look into it critically before they should adopt that particular policy. So it is on that particular premise that I felt it was important to invite some of these people who are into the creating awareness in Nigeria to know that GMOs are not good enough for human consumption. We shall be right back. By the time my guest enter the studio, he tells us more on some of these issues. So don't go away. Face the Fact. Again, my name is Topsy Gimba. Welcome back, Face the Facts. My guest is right here with me in the studio in the person of Alex Adekunle. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much, sir.
So we've been expecting you. Nothing is lost, as a matter of fact.
I apologize.
Yeah, sure. Alex Adekunle is equally a journalist. He anchors program on television. And that's the more reason why I said to invite you to be here on this program, Face the Facts, today to tell us more about how Nigerians can use the media to watch the government's and its own policies. And I just want to know, basically, can we really do that? Has there been that particular time in the history of this country that we succeeded in using the media to achieve what we should achieve? And then looking at the way we have dropped and then things are going bad.
All right, thank you very much, Topsy. I'm so glad to be here. I want to start by laying the obvious foundation that in Section 22 of our Constitution, the Nigerian Constitution, the press, the media were given, the only non-government body that was given the power to track the activities of the government, to hold them accountable on behalf of the citizen, is the press and the media. So it was factored in, elaborated. There is even provision for freedom of that press, how that they have the authority and the legal constitutional backing to be watchdogs, right? To monitor and ensure that they focus on holding the politicians accountable, holding them to their word, holding them to the oath of office that they've taken. So constitutionally, that is right. Now we see a lot of different other bodies doing the work that the media are supposed to be doing. We see NGOs, we see even private citizens, advocates, but those stuff are not even covered in the Constitution. The media are supposed to be the one filling that seat. And now, to answer your question directly, if we've ever had any time in Nigeria that has been effective, yes, we've had. In the military era, a couple of decades back, the media used to be the biggest voice when it comes to advocating, when it comes to reporting the ills of the military government. In fact, there was so much talk about media freedom, press freedom. There were so many reporters, journalists killed, imprisoned, right, during that period because they were doing their jobs. Right, they were holding the government accountable. Even when the government tried to keep things secret, they will uncover it and report it. Right, the reason why we are able to accurately refer to that era in our time and pick an head of state and dissect him and assess him rightly was because the media and the press, they did their job. They gave us a run. They gave those leaders a run for their money. They reported both the good, bad, and ugly. But now we don't have so much of that anymore.
What's really happened? If like the way you painted it, and then today is not like the way it used to be in the past. What has really happened that it has dropped to that worrisome stage?
I will say that it is an intentional, gradual process of plucking out the teeth and the tongue of this watchdog by the political class. The first thing that you would notice that happened over the last decade and years is this politician taking ownership of these media houses, buying media houses, setting up rivalry. If you look deep into the ownership of most of our media houses today, they are owned by politicians. So how can media house that is owned by a politician keep that politician accountable?
Do they establish these outfits, these media outfits? Is it to propagate their ideals or their ideology, or because they are using this as business?
I think it is two ways, right? Yeah. But most importantly, not even the business, but I believe that if you have a political ambition, if you are going to be, if your career or the trajectory of your life or what you are looking forward to attaining is based on the public perception of you, it's only wise for you to own a media house, right? So I believe that most of these politicians do it to advance their political career, to ensure that they are covered in the right, they have the right coverage. When they do bad, they are able to kill it and cover it up, and so that they are always projecting the positive image and trying to manipulate the perception of them by the general public. So I think that even beyond profits, I think that is like one of the key.
But if you look at the way it started, that's media press started in Nigeria to where we are today. It has redefined itself, not like the way it began. If it has redefined itself to a way that has become so worrisome, that means the likelihood is this: probably the media organizations are likely being established by politicians, and you cannot, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. And of course, so if it happens that way, can you still say you'll be able to hold government accountable when it comes to formulating policies that could be against the interests of the citizen?
So if we want to be honest and want to be more holistic, right? Political ownership of the press is not the only thing that has killed or that has weakened the potency of the press. Another thing that has weakened the potency is the emergence of social media. It's the emergence of citizen journalism. So now, if you're not really doing your work, whatever you're giving me, I can get it from a random Nigerian that just have their smartphone. So if all we are doing is press release journalism, is like reporting an accident, for example, reporting incidents, we can easily get that. A lot of times, we would even get this news from blogs, from social media blogs, faster than we get them from TV or from traditional media. So that also has killed and weakened the power of the press. And that beckons now for the actual function of this press, that beyond what a citizen journalism can cover. Now we need investigative journalism, we need in-depth reporting, we need special report, detective, where media can fill in that gap. We also have a loophole with our data system in Nigeria, and that's a big opportunity for media, for the press, because they don't really have data as much. Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, they are trying their best, but they are not, it's in the grand scheme of things, they are maybe only covering about 20%. So it leaves for so many, without even doing so much, you can get a report that is deeper than what any citizen journalism can cover, because we don't have data, we don't focus on all of that. So it's just a beacon on the press to do more, to go deeper.
Can the present situation whereby most Nigerians are passing through following the policies of government be implemented on daily basis, that sometimes we see those policies to be anti-human beings? Do you feel that we still have that much zeal to really hold government accountable to some of these policies that are anti-humanity?
I believe that in addition to
happening today,
in addition to ownership by the political class, citizen journalism, and the emergence of digital media, another thing that would also weaken or that will make this very difficult to achieve is also something I would call weaponized poverty, right? Media houses, for lack of a better word, or maybe not media houses, journalists are largely broke people. The pay is ridiculous. They don't have as much, and perhaps this has been the practice all along. However, when the condition now worsen and the pay does not commensurate, so at the end of the day, is it now worth it to go above and beyond? Most media houses will not even fund your ambitious special reports. You want to travel and go and investigate something, you probably not get funding for it unless you take it out of your pocket. And sometimes you can push so much that you even get sacked because you are beginning to touch places or things you're not supposed to.
Probably the live wire to that particular station.
Yes. So apart from, when all of these factors are in play, there's no will anymore to pursue the right thing, to do the right thing. And there's also tokenism that has also bedeviled media journalism in Nigeria. So because there's no much remuneration, right, and the political class, they know this, so they're easily able to just we call it brown envelope in the media space. Just do that, and even if something goes wrong with their coverage, if there's supposed to be a negative report, they cover it up.
Can that be seen to be deliberate, so that they staff you, then they now buy your conscience?
I believe it's deliberate. I also, in addition to the profile you read of me, I've also worked closely with the government in both the National Assembly and the presidency. And one of the first things I learned is that we underrate how strategic our leaders are. We underrate it. We don't really know how strategic. We think that because we are Nigerian, we say, oh, these things are maybe only in Western countries, but almost everything you see, probably 99% of everything you see play out in politics was planned. Okay. They are intentionally planned to happen the way they happen. And I believe that this is also one of it, that they weaponize, the ensuring that journalists are not dignified, right? It also takes away the ability to do their job. Okay. So I think that is intentional over the years to ensure that demography is silenced.
Can you cite an instance, bad policy? One of the things that I probably understand very clearly is let me give you a lead. The use of genetically modified organisms that the Western world are encouraging African countries to get into it. Meanwhile, they know that the harmful effects of some of these organisms that they have been modified, where they do genome editing, removing the certain things that the crop wants, and then by the time they have grown to maturity for harvest, you eat and then they become harmful to you. We have noticed that Nigeria as a country is gradually imbibing into that.
Yes, and I think that's a very bright example. That's a very good example that we need to pay attention to. But it saddens me that in almost every sector, just like I said earlier, there's something that can be easily unraveled. Okay. We see, for example, the importing of fake drugs into the country, fake medication. We see so many things that are ongoing that can easily be unraveled. Recently, we saw, not too long ago, we saw an ordinary citizen.
We just have to round up the program.
Okay.
I realize that indeed I'm gradually eating into another program, which is not quite okay. And I think you need to really come some other time for us to look into some of these issues in a way. We have enough time to really discuss on them. I feel that should be the best way to go.
Absolutely.
Let me really thank you for taking time to be with us in the studio, despite the fact that you arrived late.
Thank you very much.
I
thoroughly apologize.
Well, that's how far we can go on Face the Fraud on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gimba. I had with me in the studio a guest, Alex Adekule James, who actually came in to talk about media as a watchdog to the government, and he actually explained himself in the way we should really understand. We'll do that some other time. We shall be back. Another program comes your way at 7. Don't go away. Stay tuned.